Real transformation begins long before any outward change becomes visible. It starts in the quiet, unseen spaces of the mind where thoughts are shaped, beliefs are formed, and identity is constructed. Most people wait for a new year to magically fix the areas of life they have neglected, but nothing improves simply because the calendar changes. A date cannot transform you, but a decision can. Before 2026 arrives, the greatest work you must do is the internal work, the alignment of your thoughts with the life you desire, the cleansing of old beliefs that have quietly dictated your limitations, and the installation of new mental patterns that match the future you want to create. Everything you experience externally is nothing more than a mirror reflection of what you consistently hold internally. And until you change the image within, you cannot alter the conditions around you. You may want better finances, healthier relationships, more confidence, greater opportunities, or deeper peace. But wanting does not create. Alignment does. When the inner world shifts, the outer world obeys. And this is the foundation of all lasting change. Most people underestimate how powerful their subconscious programming truly is. They think reading a book or hearing a motivational speech is enough to change their life. But inspiration without internal alignment evaporates within hours. The subconscious mind runs the script of your life. And unless you deliberately rewrite that script, you will repeat the same patterns year after year, even when you deeply desire something different. This is why many people feel stuck. They are trying to create new results while operating from old beliefs. They set new goals, but carry old doubts, old fears, old stories about who they think they are and what they believe they can achieve. Before 2026 begins, you must confront those internal limitations, not with fear, but with intention. Study your thinking. Observe your reactions. Notice where your mind automatically gravitates when you're under pressure. These moments reveal the programming that governs your life. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. And you cannot rise beyond what you believe you are worthy of. True alignment requires honesty. It requires asking yourself difficult questions. What belief has been silently controlling me? What fear has been stopping me? What story have I been repeating for years that no longer serves my growth? What identity have I outgrown but still cling to because it feels familiar? This inner interrogation is not comfortable, but it is necessary. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by what you choose to believe now. If your old beliefs were built through repetition, new beliefs must be built the same way. Affirmations, visualizations, gratitude practices, and consistent reflection are not cliches. They are tools for reprogramming the subconscious mind. The brain accepts whatever you repeatedly tell it. And if you feed it images of success, self-worth, abundance, and purpose, it will start constructing the internal foundation that supports those outcomes. Transformation is not an event. It is a process. It is not loud. It is subtle. It starts quietly in the rewiring of your thought patterns, long before any external breakthrough arrives. Inner alignment also requires emotional regulation. Many people sabotage their progress, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they have not mastered their emotional responses. Fear, doubt, frustration, guilt, and insecurity can derail even the strongest intentions if they are not managed. Before 2026, commit to becoming emotionally aware. Notice the triggers that pull you away from your higher self. Observe the emotions that cause you to shrink instead of expand. When you become conscious of your emotional patterns, you gain the power to shift them rather than being controlled by them. This is where real freedom begins, not by controlling the world, but by controlling your response to it. When your emotions are disciplined, your decisions become clearer, your vision becomes sharper, and your actions become more aligned with your purpose. You must also understand that inner alignment is not about perfection. It is about direction. You don't need to eliminate every doubt or eradicate every fear before 2026. You simply need to make your dominant thoughts consistent with the life you want to live. A single aligned thought is more powerful than 1,000 scattered ones. When you start to think in harmony with your goals, your behavior naturally begins to shift. You speak differently. You walk differently. You make decisions based on who you are becoming instead of who you have been. This shift in consciousness creates a magnetic pull that draws new opportunities, new people, and new experiences into your life. And finally, alignment demands commitment. You cannot transform your life with a temporary level of effort. You must be willing to show up daily, to redirect your thoughts when they drift, to choose growth over comfort, to choose vision over fear, to choose focus over distraction. Every single day before 2026 is an opportunity to strengthen your mental foundation. Because once the mind is aligned, everything else in your life begins to align with it. Your environment is silently shaping you every single day, whether you acknowledge it or not. The people you interact with, the conversations you allow, the habits you repeat, the atmosphere you live in, and even the content you consume, all of it is constantly molding your mindset, your energy, and ultimately your destiny. Before 2026 begins, you must understand that no matter how powerful your intentions are, your environment can either support them or suffocate them. Too many people try to build a new life while living in the same conditions that created their old patterns. They expect growth while surrounding themselves with influences that keep them stagnant. They want clarity while allowing noise to dominate their space. They desire discipline while living in chaos. Real transformation requires creating an environment that nurtures your goal, fuels your ambition, and aligns with the person you want to become. People often underestimate how deeply they're influenced by those around them. You absorb attitudes, beliefs, energy, and behaviors from the people in your circle. If you surround yourself with individuals who complain, doubt, gossip, fear, and shrink from challenges, you naturally begin to adopt their mindset without even realizing it. Human beings are wired to adapt to their surroundings. You may think you are strong enough to stay positive in a negative environment, but over time, that environment reshapes your thinking. Before 2026, you must evaluate the people in your life with honesty. Ask yourself, who inspires me to grow? Who drains my energy? Who challenges me to think bigger? Who pulls me back into old habits? Growth requires courage. And sometimes the greatest courage is stepping away from relationships that block your elevation. You are not abandoning people. You are protecting your future. Your environment also includes the habits and routines you follow. Many people fail not because their goals are impossible, but because their daily surroundings do not support their desired future. If you want to be more focused, but your environment is full of distractions, your mind will constantly scatter. If you want to be healthier, but your space is filled with unhealthy triggers, your body will fight your intentions. If you want to be financially disciplined, but your environment encourages impulsive behavior, your progress will always be unstable. Before 2026 begins, you must consciously design routines that create momentum. Replace clutter with order. Replace noise with silence. Replace chaos with structure. Replace meaningless consumption with intentional learning. A supportive environment does not happen by accident. It is engineered through consistent choices. The digital environment you expose yourself to is equally important. In today's world, you are constantly being fed information, and what you consume controls your thinking more than you realize. If your social media feed is filled with negativity, comparison, drama, and mind-numbing content, your mind begins to operate at that same low frequency. You start thinking small, reacting emotionally, and losing sight of your goals. But when you fill your digital space with education, inspiration, meaningful conversations, and content, that elevates your mindset, you raise your mental frequency, and begin aligning with your higher path. Before 2026, curate your digital environment just as carefully as you curate your physical one. Unfollow anything that distracts you from your purpose. Follow the voices that elevate your thinking. Replace dull entertainment with growth-focused material. What you allow into your mind becomes the soundtrack of your life. Your physical environment also plays a huge role in your energy. The cleanliness of your space, the organization of your surroundings, lighting, the colors, the sounds, they all influence your emotional state. A cluttered environment drains mental clarity. A dark, closed-off room lowers your motivation. A noisy, chaotic space increases stress. When your environment lacks order, your mind struggles to find direction. Before 2026, commit to transforming your physical space into a sanctuary of growth. A place where your goals feel supported, not obstructed. A place where your mind relaxes, your creativity awakens, and your discipline strengthens. Simple changes like decluttering your room, organizing your workspace, improving the lighting, or adding elements that inspire you can dramatically shift your energy and productivity. There is also the environment of conversation, what you talk about and what you allow others to talk about around you. Conversations create mental pathways. When you engage in discussions about ideas, possibilities, growth, and purpose, your mind expands. When you engage in discussions about people, problems, drama, and negativity, your mind contracts. If your environment is filled with shallow conversations, you will think in shallow ways. If your environment is filled with problem-centered talk, You will live in a problem-centered reality. Before 2026, be intentional with conversations. Elevate your discussions. Ask deeper questions. Speak about your vision openly. Share ideas, not complaints. When you change the conversations around you, you change the direction of your life. Your environment also influences your self-image, the places you spend time in, the people you associate with, the routines you maintain. All of these communicate to your subconscious mind who you believe you are. If you consistently place yourself in environments that reflect your lower self, your mind will anchor you to that version. But when you deliberately place yourself in environments that reflect your future self, studying, exercising, learning, planning, building, your subconscious begins to accept that as your identity. And once your identity shifts, your behavior naturally follows. Before 2026, begin creating an environment that mirrors the highest version of you, not the current one. In the end, your environment is not just where you live, it is what you tolerate, what you consume, what you allow, and what you repeat. When you intentionally shape your environment, you shape your destiny without force, without struggle, and without resistance. Clarity of vision is one of the most powerful forces a person can develop, and yet it is often overlooked. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances, responding to other people's expectations, and living according to a world they did not design. Before 2026 begins, it is absolutely essential to define a crystal clear vision for who you want to be, what you want to create, and the life you want to live. Without clarity, energy is scattered, decisions are confused, and potential remains unfulfilled. When your vision is vague, your actions are diluted, and your results reflect that lack of direction. The mind cannot achieve what it does not see with precision, and the soul cannot move toward what it cannot feel. A clearly defined vision acts as a magnetic force, aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions, and decisions toward a single, focused target. It organizes chaos, prioritizes effort, and gives every choice a sense of purpose and urgency. Creating a vision requires more than just writing down goals. It requires deep introspection. You must ask yourself questions that most people avoid. What does my ideal life look like in every area, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually? Who am I when I am operating at my highest potential? What contribution do I want to make? And what legacy do I want to leave behind? These are not simple questions, and the answers will not come from a fleeting moment of inspiration. They require quiet reflection, honest assessment, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about where you are now and where you are meant to go. Before 2026, commit to this process of self-discovery. The clarity you develop in these moments becomes the foundation upon which every decision, every relationship, every opportunity, and every action will be built. Without this foundation, even the most talented individuals stumble because they lack a true sense of direction. Clarity of vision also brings emotional alignment. When you are certain about where you are headed, your emotions stop being scattered by fear, doubt, and indecision. You begin to experience a sense of calm confidence because your mind knows the destination, even if the journey is challenging. This emotional stability allows you to respond to obstacles with clarity rather than panic, to approach challenges with creativity rather than frustration, and to persist when others give up. Without vision, emotions fluctuate like waves in a storm, pulling you in conflicting directions and preventing consistent progress. When vision and emotion are aligned, action becomes easier, decisions become faster, and progress becomes inevitable. You begin to operate with a sense of certainty that attracts resources, people, and opportunities that match your purpose. A clear vision also sharpens your focus and improves your ability to prioritize. Every day, life presents countless choices, distractions, and demands on your time. Without clarity, you drift from task to task, reacting to what seems urgent rather than what is important. With clarity, you immediately recognize what aligns with your goals and what does not. You learn to say no to what does not serve your higher purpose, and yes to what accelerates your growth. You stop wasting time on activities that have no long-term impact. Concentrate energy on the actions that produce exponential results. This level of focused effort magnifies your productivity and accelerates the manifestation of your desires. Vision acts as a filter for every decision, ensuring that your energy is always directed toward the life you are deliberately creating. Visualization is another crucial element in solidifying clarity of vision. Seeing your desired future with vivid detail creates a mental blueprint that the subconscious mind can work to bring into reality. When you visualize consistently, your mind begins to recognize opportunities that match your vision, generates creative solutions to problems, and motivates you to take consistent action, even when external conditions are challenging. The more real and detailed your vision feels in your mind, the faster your external reality begins to align. Before 2026, make a daily practice of visualizing your future self, your accomplishments, your relationships, and your lifestyle. Immerse yourself in the feeling of already having achieved your goals. This emotional connection strengthens your commitment and makes the path forward unmistakably clear. Clarity also strengthens resilience. Life will always present obstacles, setbacks, and distractions. But a person with a clear vision refuses to be derailed. When you know exactly where you are going, you can see obstacles as temporary, necessary, or even helpful. Every challenge becomes a lesson, a test, or a step toward your ultimate destination. You stop interpreting failure as defeat because your vision is larger than any single moment. It anchors you through uncertainty and provides a constant reference point when emotions, opinions, or external pressures attempt to pull you off course. Before 2026, invest the time and energy required to sharpen your vision, because clarity transforms confusion into direction, distraction into focus, and potential into achievement. It transforms ordinary days into purposeful steps toward extraordinary outcomes and creates the internal guidance system necessary for monumental growth and consistent progress. A clear vision not only transforms your internal experience, but also affects your external reality. People are naturally drawn to clarity and confidence. When you know what you want and where you are going, you exude a magnetic energy that attracts mentors, collaborators, resources, and opportunities. Doors open that were previously invisible, solutions appear that were previously unimaginable, and the world begins to bend in favor of your vision. Your clarity communicates to the universe and to everyone around you that you are committed, intentional, and ready to receive the life you have defined for yourself. Before 2026, take the time to crystallize this vision, because it is not just a map, it is the force that organizes your mind, emotions, actions, and relationships around the life you are destined to create. Discipline is the invisible force that transforms intention into reality. Many people spend their lives dreaming, planning, and hoping for change, yet very few ever experience the results they desire because they underestimate the power of consistent action. Before 2026 begins, it is essential to understand that discipline is not a punishment or a restriction. It is the bridge that connects your goals to your actual achievements. Without discipline, vision remains a dream, ideas remain idle, and potential remains untapped. It is through disciplined action, repeated day after day, that extraordinary results are produced. Every habit you cultivate, every routine you follow, and every choice you make consistently either moves you toward your goals or away from them. Discipline is the quiet force that ensures that progress does not depend on fleeting motivation, temporary inspiration, or external circumstances, because those are unreliable and inconsistent. When you commit to discipline, you remove chance from your success and replace it with certainty. Discipline begins with small, deliberate actions repeated over time. Many people misunderstand discipline as doing massive, dramatic, or extraordinary things. In reality, discipline is in the small things: waking up on time, prioritizing your tasks, choosing action over procrastination, and staying consistent even when the initial excitement has faded. The cumulative effect of these small actions is enormous. It compounds in ways that are almost invisible in the short term, but unstoppable in the long term. Every choice you make to follow through, every moment you resist distraction, and every time you push yourself to do what needs to be done, you are building an unshakable foundation for your future. Before 2026, identify the areas where small but consistent actions will produce the greatest results and commit to mastering them. These actions are the building blocks of a disciplined life, and mastery over them transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Another critical aspect of discipline is emotional control. Life is unpredictable, and external circumstances rarely go exactly as planned. Challenges, setbacks, and disappointments are inevitable. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is the ability to remain disciplined in the face of adversity. Discipline is not about avoiding discomfort or escaping difficulty. It is about choosing to act according to your principles and long-term objectives despite temporary emotions. When you allow fear, doubt, or frustration to dictate your actions, you surrender control over your life. Before 2026, cultivate the mental strength to stay on course, to continue showing up even when circumstances are unfavorable, and to remain committed to your goals regardless of temporary setbacks. Emotional mastery and discipline are inseparable because consistent action requires a mind that refuses to be swayed by momentary impulses. Discipline also requires prioritization and focus. Most people waste their energy chasing multiple goals at once, reacting to every distraction, and responding to the demands of others rather than following a deliberate plan. True discipline involves determining what is most important, what actions will produce the greatest results, and then committing to those tasks with unwavering focus. It is about saying no to what is irrelevant, delaying gratification for long-term benefit, and maintaining a daily structure that aligns with your highest objectives. Before 2026, take stock of your priorities and design routines that direct your energy toward the actions that truly matter. Eliminate habits, activities, and distractions that fragment your attention, because scattered energy produces scattered results. Discipline organizes your life, creates momentum, and ensures that every effort is aligned with your ultimate purpose. Consistency is the heartbeat of discipline. Motivation is fleeting and often unreliable. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. Those days, discipline is what keeps you moving forward. Consistency is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The most successful people are not necessarily those with the greatest talent. They are those who persist when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or difficult. They commit to showing up and doing the work, regardless of their mood or circumstances. Before 2026, adopt the mindset that consistency is non-negotiable. Whether you feel like it or not, take action every day toward your goals, because it is this unwavering commitment that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. Discipline also influences your character. Every act of self-control strengthens your integrity, self-respect, and confidence. When you consistently do what you know is right for your future, you train yourself to trust your own judgment and capability. You no longer rely on external validation or fleeting motivation. You rely on your own commitment to your vision. Discipline shapes your habits, and your habits shape your identity. By committing to disciplined action, you begin to embody the person you aspire to become. Before 2026, recognize that every disciplined choice you make is a vote for your future self, reinforcing the belief that you are capable, responsible, and deserving of success. Discipline is also the multiplier of opportunity. Talent, intelligence, and luck may provide occasional advantages, but without discipline, those advantages fade. A disciplined individual maximizes every opportunity, leverages every skill, and persists until goals are achieved. Discipline ensures that preparation meets opportunity, so when doors open, you are ready to step through with confidence and competence. Before 2026, commit to building a disciplined framework in your life, your routines, your habits, your emotional control, your consistency, and your focus, so that when opportunity arises, you are prepared to take massive, aligned action. In this way, discipline becomes the engine that drives momentum, magnifies effort, and guarantees that your dreams do not remain mere ideas, but manifest as tangible, life-changing results. Self-worth is the invisible force that determines what you allow into your life and what you pursue. Before 2026 begins, it is crucial to understand that your external results are a direct reflection of how you value yourself internally. Most people spend endless time learning new skills, chasing opportunities, or seeking external validation, yet they fail to recognize that without a strong sense of self-worth, none of these efforts will lead to lasting success or fulfillment. Self-worth is not about arrogance or pride. It is about knowing at the deepest level that you are capable, deserving, and equipped to achieve your highest potential. When your self-image is low, your actions, decisions, and relationships are limited by fear, doubt, and hesitation. When your self-worth is high, you naturally gravitate toward opportunities that reflect your value attract relationships that respect and support you and pursue goals that align with your true potential. Many people sabotage their progress unconsciously because they underestimate their worth. They settle for less than they deserve in careers, finances, relationships, and personal growth because their internal belief system does not allow them to see beyond limitation. They may dream of wealth but avoid taking calculated risks. They may desire love but tolerate unhealthy dynamics. They may want recognition, but hold themselves back from visibility. The underlying factor is the perception of self, what they think they are entitled to, capable of achieving, or deserving of experiencing. Before to see show 6, it is essential to consciously evaluate your self-worth. Ask yourself, do I truly believe I am worthy of the life I dream about? Do I trust myself to make decisions that honor my growth? Do I respect my time, energy, and talent enough to protect them fiercely? This deep introspection is the starting point for elevating your life, because everything you allow externally is a reflection of what you believe internally. Self-worth directly affects boundaries. People with low self-worth often allow others to dictate their choices, manipulate their emotions, and take advantage of their energy. They accept situations that drain them and tolerate behaviors that diminish their growth, because they feel unworthy of better treatment. Conversely, individuals with high self-worth instinctively set boundaries, protect their time and energy, and choose relationships, environments, and opportunities that reinforce their value. Before 2026, it is critical to establish clear boundaries that reflect your self-respect. Learn to say no without guilt, to walk away from situations that do not serve your growth, and to surround yourself with influences that elevate your thinking and actions. Boundaries are not limitations. They are affirmations of worth. Communicate to yourself and the world that you value your life and your future. Your self-worth also determines the goals you pursue. People with limited self-esteem often aim for outcomes that are small, safe, and familiar because they cannot imagine achieving something that feels beyond their perceived capability. They may follow societal expectations or mimic others' paths without ever defining what truly matters to them. Those with elevated self-worth, however, set audacious goals, pursue bold opportunities, and refuse to settle for mediocrity. They operate from a mindset of possibility, believing that they are capable of more than they have experienced and deserving of what they desire. Before 2026, take the time to identify goals that truly reflect your value and potential. Do not settle for what seems possible within your comfort zone. Aim for what stretches your mind, elevates your character, and aligns with your vision of your highest self. Self-worth also influences the way you respond to challenges and setbacks. Individuals with low self-esteem interpret obstacles as personal failure, allowing them to erode confidence and reinforce limiting beliefs. They often give up too soon or take criticism too personally. On the other hand, those with strong self-worth see challenges as opportunities to grow, learn, and demonstrate resilience. They persist because they know their value is not determined by temporary circumstances, but by their unwavering belief in themselves. Before 2026, cultivate the mindset that your worth is inherent and unshakable, independent of external validation. This mindset creates a foundation of courage, resilience, and perseverance, ensuring that you continue to act even in the face of adversity. Your self-worth also attracts what you deserve. The energy you project internally communicates to the world the level of respect, opportunity, and abundance you are prepared to receive. People who undervalue themselves often attract relationships, jobs, and circumstances that mirror that undervaluation, while those who value themselves attract opportunities and connections that elevate and support them. This is why developing self-worth is not just about internal peace. It is about creating tangible results in every area of your life. Before 2026, invest in practices that enhance self-esteem. Daily affirmations, reflection on accomplishments, gratitude for personal strengths, and consistent alignment between actions and values. The higher your sense of worth, the more your life naturally reflects that elevation. Finally, self-worth shapes identity. The way you see yourself determines the decisions you make, the risks you take, and the legacy you leave behind. Without a strong sense of worth, You will unconsciously limit yourself to familiar patterns, comfortable mediocrity, and predictable outcomes. With elevated self-worth, you step into a life that matches the magnitude of your potential. You pursue what aligns with your deepest desires, and you refuse to compromise on the vision of your highest self. Before 2026, recognize that self-worth is the foundation for every choice, every relationship, every goal, and every achievement, because the life you live will always be a reflection of what you believe you deserve. You become unstoppable the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses are the silent killers of potential, the invisible chains that keep people trapped in mediocrity. Every day, countless opportunities pass by because someone decided that tomorrow was a better time, that conditions weren't perfect, or that they didn't have enough resources or skill. Excuses are seductive because they provide comfort in the short term, allowing the mind to avoid discomfort, responsibility, and growth. Yet every excuse you accept is a vote against your future, a subtle reinforcement of limitation, and a quiet agreement to remain where you are instead of stepping into what you could become. Before 2026 begins, it is essential to make a decision to stop negotiating with excuses and start taking full accountability for your actions, your choices, and your results. This is not about perfection. It is about absolute commitment to your highest potential and refusing to allow self-imposed limitations to dictate your destiny. Excuses often disguise fear. The mind seeks to rationalize hesitation because acting boldly requires courage, vulnerability, and the willingness to face uncertainty. You may tell yourself you are waiting for the right time, that you need more knowledge, that circumstances must be ideal, or that others must support you first. These justifications feel logical, but underneath them lies fear, the fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, or fear of discomfort. Before 2026, you must confront the truth that fear will never disappear entirely, and waiting for it to vanish is futile. Instead, you must act in spite of fear, recognizing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to move forward regardless. The moment you stop negotiating with excuses, you shift your mindset from avoidance to empowerment, from limitation to possibility, and from stagnation to action. Every excuse you eliminate creates momentum, and momentum is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Excuses are also a reflection of accountability avoidance. When you blame circumstances, other people, or lack of resources for why you cannot achieve your goals, you are surrendering control over your life. You are transferring your power to external forces, allowing them to dictate your results. True empowerment comes from accepting that you are responsible for your outcomes. Regardless of obstacles or challenges, the world will never adjust to accommodate your excuses. It operates on cause and effect. The choices you make, the actions you take, and the persistence you demonstrate are what ultimately shape your results. Before 2026, commit to a mindset of complete ownership. Refuse to point fingers or rationalize inaction. Instead, focus on solutions, strategies, and actions that you can control. Ownership is the antidote to excuses, and it is the foundation of unstoppable progress. Consistency and discipline are impossible without eliminating excuses. Every excuse is a disruption to your routine, a justification to skip a step, or a permission to delay growth. The small compromises you make today compound into larger patterns of avoidance that define your life over time. Excuses allow procrastination to masquerade as strategic planning, laziness to masquerade as rest, and fear to masquerade as caution. The only way to become unstoppable is to replace the habit of excuse making with the habit of action. Before 2026, develop a daily practice of evaluating every hesitation and asking, am I acting from fear or from purpose? Replace rationalizations with immediate aligned action. Every time you bypass an excuse, you reinforce your ability to take control of your life, strengthen your resilience, and accelerate your progress. Excuses also limit creativity and problem solving. When you allow yourself to rationalize why something cannot be done, your mind unconsciously stops searching for solutions. You settle for easier, safer, less effective options rather than pushing past barriers to create innovative breakthroughs. The truth is that challenges are opportunities in disguise. The moment you stop negotiating with excuses, you open your mind to possibilities that were previously invisible. You begin to see alternatives, opportunities, and solutions where before you saw only obstacles. Every obstacle becomes a chance to test your creativity, expand your capacity, and demonstrate your commitment to your goals. Before 2026, embrace the mindset that every limitation is temporary and every excuse is a signal to take bold action. The more you refuse excuses, the more resourceful, capable, and unstoppable you become. Excuses also erode confidence. Every time you rationalize why you cannot do something, you reinforce a belief that you are limited, incapable, or unworthy. Over time, these repeated patterns of excuse-making shape your identity and create a self-fulfilling prophecy of mediocrity. But when you consistently act in spite of excuses, your confidence grows exponentially. Each step taken against hesitation proves to your subconscious mind that you are capable of more than you believe, that you can overcome challenges, and that your potential is far greater than your excuses suggest. Before 2026, commit to rewriting your internal narrative. Replace the stories of limitation with stories of action, courage, and achievement. The more you refuse excuses, the stronger your self-belief becomes, and the more unstoppable you become in every area of your life. Finally, stopping excuses is about freedom. Excuses are chains disguised as comfort. They keep you imprisoned in mediocrity, fear, and stagnation. The moment you refuse to accept them, you reclaim control over your time, energy, and future. You begin to operate from a place of purpose, clarity, and relentless determination. You begin to attract opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that align with your highest potential, because you are no longer negotiating with limitation. You are no longer waiting for life to hand you permission. You are stepping forward boldly, decisively, and consistently, building unstoppable momentum that cannot be derailed by fear, doubt, or external challenges. Before 2026, make the decision to eliminate every excuse, embrace radical accountability, and step into a level of action that positions you as unstoppable in the pursuit of your highest life.